अहम सर्वस्य प्रभवः मत्तः सर्व प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा bhajante माम Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So Krishna is continuing with his discourse without even prompting by Arjuna. Krishna is out of his love for Arjuna. He's explaining his real power, real form, and so on. So aham sarvasya prabhavaha. I of everybody. Sarvasya of everybody. Aham, I, prabhavaha. Bhava means to the origin. So prabhavaha, origination. Mattaha sarva pravartate. From me. Again, ablative. From me. Sarva, everything. Pravartate. They all manifest. Iti matva bhajante mam. Having accepted this, matva, having mankar, having accepted this, having considered this, bhajante mam, to me, bhajante mam, chant my name, chant of me, or devote to me, towards me. Buddha bhav samanvitaha. By this determined mind, you should worship me. So I'm the origin of all. Sarvasya prabhava. All proceeds from me. Mattah sarva pravartate. Thinking thus the intelligent ones. Iti matva bhajante mam. Worship me. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So intelligent ones, they know the origin of everybody, every being. So they worship me with steadfast mind. Verse 9. All right. Mat chitta madgat prana. Bodhayantaha parasparam. Kathayantaha cha mam nityam. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. I've heard this line many times again from Dadaji. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Those who are devotees of Krishna, devotees of Bhagwan, any name you call it, but the ultimate truth, that is Brahman. Those who are devoted to that ultimate truth are always tushyanti, contented, ramanti. They are rejoicing, playing, having fun. They're extremely happy with their life. They're content and rejoice. You can imagine, I think ISKCON, if you visit any ISKCON temple, you see them, there are people dancing with their dholaks, and they keep their choti and dhoti kurta, and they're just dancing Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So that's the image that my mind is filled with right now. So, mat chitta madgat pranaha. Those who think of me, their chitta, mat chitta, their mind is devoted to me. Madgat prana, their life, their breath, life breath, prana, it can be breath or the life itself is devoted to me. Bodhayantaha parasparam. So they awaken each other, the devotees, they awaken each other, bodhayantaha. Kathayantaha mam nityam. And they discuss about me all the time. They're always discussing, telling each other about me. Nityam, everywhere, every time, everywhere, always. So those who think of me, who absorb their lives on me, enlightening each other, bodhayantaha, enlightening each other, and speaking of me constantly, they are content and rejoice. Again, think of the ISKCON devotees dancing with joy. All right. And many, many others, not just ISKCON. I'll just give an example. I'm not any follower of any ISKCON or any sect. I talk of the original Sanskrit language text without any sectarian bias, as I have told many times. No masala. No, just an example I shared from ISKCON. All right. Verse 10. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam upayanti te. So what I do, Tesham, those satata yukta, those who are constantly devoted to me, united with me, satata yukta, satat, always, constantly, yuktanam, united with me, Tesham, of them, bhajatam priti purvakam, those who are chanting my name with love, out of love, dadami, I give, buddhi yogam, the yoga of buddhi, yoga of discrimination to judge what is truth and reality. Discrimination has attained a negative meaning these days, especially in the US. But here, discrimination simply means vivek. Vivek, or power of intellect to decide what is right, discern what is right, what is wrong. That is discrimination or discernment. Dadami buddhi yogam tam. To them, I give this yoga of discrimination. Yen mam upayanti te. So, and they come to me. Again, once again, yanti, aya is come, yanti is to go. So they go to me, or they come to me. To those who are constantly steadfast, those who worship me with love, I give the yoga of discrimination by which they come to me. Verse 11th. All right. Tesham eva anukampartham. Compassion. Aham ajnanajam tamaha nashayami atma bhavastha jnana deepena bhasvata. What I do? With the jnana deep, the light of knowledge, bhasvata, enlightening knowledge, shining lamp of knowledge. Bhasvata has this connection with Bhaskar, which means sun. So Bha has this idea of light or enlightenment and so on. So Bhasvata here simply means shining. Jnanadeep, shining lamp of knowledge. What I do? Tesham, of them, on them, or in them. Eva anukampartham, out of my compassion. Once again, anukampa is compassion. Aham, I, ajnanajam tamaha, the darkness born out of ignorance. Nashayami, I destroy that darkness, that ignorance. Atma bhavastaha, because I am dwelling in their own being. So out of compassion for them, I who dwell within their own beings destroy the darkness born out of ignorance with a shining lamp of knowledge. I give that buddhi yoga and that destroys their ignorance basically. Verse 12. Now Arjun, he was sleeping, I guess. Arjun was listening to Krishna's discourses, spontaneous words. Krishna was just flowing with this wisdom. Arjun was listening patiently. Now suddenly he wakes up and now he asks. Arjun Uvach, verse 12th, chapter 10th. Param Brahma Param Dham. Now he's now bowing down to Krishna, he's accepting everything. Param Brahma Param Dham, Pavitra Paramam Bhavan, Purusham Shashvatam Divyam, Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum. So he accepted Krishna's divinity and he's saying, Paramam Brahma, you are the supreme Brahman. Param Dham, you are the supreme abode. Pavitra Paramam, you are the supreme, purifying, supremely pure. Bhavan, Aap, you are. Purusham Shashvatam, you are the ultimate, eternal, cosmic person. Divyam, divine person. Adi Devam, the original patriarch. Adi Dev, original God, original divine being. Ajam, unborn, never born. Vibhum, the supreme light, all pervading, supreme reality. So he's just singing glory of Krishna, of Brahman, of manifested as Yogeshwar Krishna, as his charioteer. And verse 13th. Ahum tvam rishayah sarve devarshihi naradah tatha asita devala vyasah swayam cha eva bravishi me. Your glory rishis sing, ahuhu, they call, they invoke you, rishayah, all sages, all sarve. Devarshi, the divine Rishi, Narada. So all the Rishis, all the sages, and the Narad, the Devarshi, Asita Devala, the mythical sage who compiled some Rigvedic verses. His name was Asita Devala. We have forgotten his name nowadays, but we don't even mention his name anymore. But that's the name mentioned in the Rigveda and now in the Bhagavad Gita. Asita Devala. Vyasa. Vyasa simply means an editor or a compiler. Vyasa, we still remember the name, who wrote or compiled all the Vedas and the Mahabharata and the Bhagavad Puran and so on. So all these great names, they invoke you. They remember you, they chant your names. Arjuna is reminding himself that Krishna's name or Yogeshwar Krishna or Brahman's name is being chanted by so many legendary figures. Swayam, you yourself, Cha Eva, you also yourself. Bravishi, you're telling me about yourself, your own divinity, you're telling me directly. So that was verse 30. So thus they call you, all the seers, the divine seer Narada, also Asita Devala and Vyasa, and you yourself now tell me. So verse 14. Sarvam edam etad ritam manye yan mam vadasi keshava nahi te bhagwan vyakti viduhu devaha nadanva. So Arjuna is happily accepting everything. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept everything that you mention as true. Ritam here means simply truth, not the rhythm of the universe. Ritam simply means truth. Manye, I've accepted. I'm manram. I'm accepting. I'm agreeing to what you're saying. Yan mam vadasi Keshava, O Krishna, whatever you're telling me, I'm accepting. Nahi te bhagwan vyakti viduhu devanad. But this is not known to human beings or the sages or the gods or even the demons. They don't know this highest truth. All this which you speak to me, Krishna, I believe to be true. Indeed, neither the gods nor the demons, O Blessed One, know your manifestations. So that completes our verse 14th.